Hey, listen up, I'm singing about you. You know, animals use it every day to swim and bathe and jump and play. You know they use it to breathe and cool them down. It's called H2O and it's in your town. I mean, it's so bad and it's so cool. You'll find it in every swimming pool. I mean, whales, they know where it's at, but watch out for Jaws, cause he's on the attack. And Flipper's there for you and me. Go rent-free, Willie, 1, 2, and 3. Haha, word.
Tell Peter he's on in 15 seconds.
Simple, yet satisfying.
What are you doing? Just staring.
Come on, guys, no more spitwise on the set.
Baby! Ready on cue.
All right, here we go.
Quiet on the set. Quiet in the dark.
It's showtime.
Get ready to jam, man. Let's get ready to jam.
What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to The Jam. Today's topic, wildlife and water. You ever think about the water that you drink and all the stuff that's actually in it and how that stuff gets to the faucet in your house? Well, the quality of water in our rivers and streams doesn't affect only us, but it also affects the wildlife.
Buenos dias, hola, all you fat contaminated microbes.
Oh, yes, he's Larry, the omnipotent head in a jar. Ba-da-da.
Water is everywhere. Well, at least here on Earth. I mean, even you. Yes, you sitting on that couch with that bag of pork rinds. You are 2/3 water, and your friends thought you were all gas. Anyway, all plants and animals, and that includes you full-figured humans, must have water to survive. So, if there's water seemingly everywhere, why is it such a big issue? Well, I'll tell you, you pint-sized mineral-infested inferior life form, so listen up.
Turn it off! Turn it off! Somebody please turn the water off!
This is Camden Yards, home of the Baltimore Orioles. It's 5 hours till game time, and it takes a lot of water for 2 teams and 48,000 fans. If you don't like crowded places, sold-out Camden Yards is not the place for you. But it's the place for me. It's a good thing I brought my binoculars. Looks like my seat is close to heaven. We're heading on into the stadium. I'm getting excited. Wow.
Calling all cars, I'm back! It's me, Paranoia Man. Although Paranoia is really my middle name. My first name's Blaine. Blaine Paranoia Man. And there's a lot out there that they don't want you to know about. This week, the paranoia secret, the conspiracy is, water, agua. Just the common stuff that makes up most of our body. And you know, the big secret they don't want you to know about is the hydrological cycle. Nothing logical about it, people.
You've heard about it since the first grade. It's the hydrologic cycle.
The hydrologic cycle.
It's how water circulates. It's in the atmosphere. It's on the Earth's surface. It's through the soil, into the rivers, lakes, and oceans. Then it's back up into the atmosphere where it all begins again. It's a dynamic ebb and flow to which people and wildlife are all connected. It's a matter of water quantity as well as water quality.
Because you know the truth about water? The same water that we're getting raining on us today has been around for thousands upon, well, you get the idea, of years.
There are really 2 kinds of water cycles, one that nature created and one we've created to help process the huge quantities of water we use every day. And check this, even at Camden Yards, water is used in 2 very different and yet important ways.
So, tell me some things about the field.
Well, our field is a sand-based field, which most sports fields that are constructed today and on the pro end usually are. The field sits in an envelope of plastic on the bottom and the sides of the system. Laying on top of that plastic line are plastic drain tiles that the water goes into. The rainwater then travels through those plastic tiles to our drainage vault back underneath the stadium. We can also take our drainage system and turn it around so that we can flood the system with water from underneath and irrigate the field. Actually, while the ball game's being played, nobody even knows it. You don't lose all your water from evaporation, whereas if we were to turn the sprinklers on in the middle of the day, half of that water that you put out is going to be lost to evaporation and transpiration.
Evapotranspiration.
We've had game days where we've had an inch of rain in about 15-20 minutes. Well, that's a pretty good deluge. And hopefully we're able to get our tarp out fast enough so we protect the infield dirt. So we get that covered. Meanwhile, the grass system with the sand-based field that I was discussing a little earlier, that can accept a lot of water at one time. We can actually suck off this field 75,000 gallons of water per hour.
Water, water everywhere. But where, oh where does all the water go? Does it run high? Does it run low? Doctor, doctor, where does the water go?
Isn't it time to ask Dr. Gravity?
Yes, Dr. Anti-Gravity back here today. Today we're talking about precipitation. That's what we're talking about, because we got rain, and we got snow, and we got all the precipitation in between just falling to the earth. But once it hits the ground, well, then what happens? Because, you know, it's not just going to go bouncy, bouncy, bounce back up into the atmosphere like we think, because, baby, the rain must fall. Isn't that a nice special effect? We planned that there. We spared no expense. Now I'm just a little bit moist, but that ain't no big deal at all. Where the rain falls, that makes the biggest difference in the world. When we got a grassy place like here in the middle of the concrete jungle, then it does exactamundo, exactly what Mother Nature intended. And you know, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. The water then creeps and seeps into the ground just like a slug there, getting all off into the ground. Then all the plants you see all this kind of greenery stuff, it slows down the water so that it gives it time to soak in. But once the water gets into the ground, then it gets cleaned. How's that for crazy? Oh, I can't believe it. That's what happens. It gets cleaned in the ground. You see, microbes are found right here, and they're itsy-bitsy tiny little organisms that you can only see with a microscope. They're tiny, tiny, teeny, like smaller than your aunt's nose hair. That kind of small. And you can only see them through a microscope. Hint, microscope, microbes. That's where it comes from. And they are everywhere. As a matter of fact, they help clean the water from the impurities, the pollutants, like all that kind of stuff that gets inside of it there. Bad stuff like fertilizers and those kind of things. They just go whoosh, and it's a little out of there. Oh, I soiled myself. And yeah, but the problem arises when water tries to flow on impermeable surfaces. These paved surfaces, they just let the water get going too fast. So when you got a sidewalk or some sort of parking lot or even the sides of buildings, it just gets the water speeding down, so it picks up all this dirt and soil and oil and debris and just nasty little bit stuff. This fast water doesn't have any time to soak into the ground, so it flows straight into the streams and rivers, where it ends up getting the water all polluted and cloudy and contaminated. And that ain't good for nobody. So I say take care of the earth, and the earth will take care of us. It just won't pay the last 10% of a tip on your dinner bill.
It doesn't take an Urkel or an Einstein to figure out that when a stream is healthy, it's better for the wildlife that depend on it. That means the fish, the animals, and even the microorganisms in the water. So the biodiversity of plants and animals in streams indicates how healthy the water really is. No, really. So basically, healthy, happy water equals healthy, happy bugs and insects. You see, water quality affects us all. That's why so many kids are taking an active part in monitoring the health of their local watershed.
The jar is strictly for Larry's head, and that is all.
This is one of the largest streams in Seattle, actually, as far as watershed. It's about 11 square miles, but it's a very highly acidified stream. It goes underneath a shopping center, it goes underneath the freeway. Look at the streets and the paving. I show the kids a satellite photo of Seattle, and Seattle is all gray. You don't get the green until you get out to the forest lands at the pass. So there's a big difference in impervious surface. There's no place to slow the water down. There are 11 different schools that are looking at different pieces of the watershed. So this is all part of the Thornton Creek website. The person who's going to drop the orange and then drop the ping pong ball. We need a catcher down here so you can get in the water with boots. Who's got the stopwatch? Diana, you're the recorder. Okay, this is to get an idea of how many cubic feet of water per second are moving past a point in the stream. So we get a velocity of the surface. Then the kids measure the depth and then figure the volume. Okay, this is a wetland restoration project. None of this was here about 5 years ago. This is all brand new. One of the original reasons to do this was to drain the outfield of ball diamond that's right on the other side of the berm. And along with that, we created a really great science study site.
Okay, if you see right here, you can see some stuff that looks like oil, except it's really not. It's a natural thing that's produced because these wetlands are restored. They didn't used to be here. And so when they're changing back into what they used to be, some weird stuff happens. And so when you touch this, you can see it breaks. It doesn't move back into place. And when you take your finger off and it moves back into place, then you know it's oil.
If there wasn't clean water, then the plants and animals around here couldn't live.
Okay, one thing about this part of the creek, all these bushes are overgrowing it, and that's kind of good for some animals and not so good for others, but it keeps the creek cooler when it's sunny out, and so the water stays cooler, and that means more oxygen can be held. We're gonna do tests when we get back to the classroom, and you can see.
You may have some other kinds of beetles.
What was it?
Just add beetle to group 1. We don't know what kind it is, but we'll figure this out.
Oh my God, it's having a baby. It's having a baby.
Remember that you put the light on here. You can see anything.
We're looking at an aquatic snail.
Look at those leaves underneath.
They're usually hiding under there or living there.
Okay. So if I have a lot of these, then I got poor water quality?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 looks like. I thought it looked like a red caddisfly, but then I looked at the other data sheet and it was different colors.
There's a lot more stuff in the ponds than there were in the creek. So our pollution tolerance indexes, when we calculated them for the creek, were running generally in the good to low end of excellent.
When we're talking about where the water is at Camden Yards, it all has to have a starting point, and it starts right here. There's a lot of water in the stadium. We use it for showers, saunas for the team, oils for visitors, restrooms.
We used 500,000 gallons of water yesterday. Where on the previous days where we didn't have a game, we used between 40 and 80,000 gallons of water.
Small days, what we just use? Clean up?
It's just normally clean up and things like that, what people use around here. We're doing 260 gallons a minute right now. During a ball game, we could use 1,700 to 2,500 gallons a minute. If you want to relate that in easier terms, if you have a 24-foot round swimming pool in your backyard, if you take and fill it with a garden hose out of your house, it'll probably take about 2 days to fill it up. Where if you had this system, you could fill it up in about 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
We're down on the lower concourse, and we'll take you in and show you where we use a lot of the water during the games. Go on in. There's roughly 300 and some toilets, about 320. Urinals, we have about 218. So if everything was to be used at one time, it would be a total of about, say, 2,000 gallons just in that one instance.
That's almost another pool in 4 minutes.
And there's even systems larger than this. If you want to take a system like what's in the Empire State Building or something like that, they have even a larger system.
This is big enough.
Wake up call, people! The conspiracy continues right here in the sewer system, which I call the bowels of the city. And it smells like it too! Feel your nostrils burn with the stench of 40,000 years. Woo! I'm awake, slap my fanny, to prove once and for all that what goes down must go further down, and I'm talking way down. Way down! Major look! Ha ha ha!
We're here at a wastewater treatment plant, and basically what this plant is it's a facility that collects the stuff that you flush down the toilet. The bar screen takes away all the boards and rags and different things that's not supposed to be in there, and it's incinerated off-site. Then it also comes into what we call our grit chambers. It's sort of like a black, sandy type gross stuff. You really don't want to see it. It's really gross. We don't want the people, the residents, to be smelling the odors off this, especially the grit chamber, so we keep it covered. Our next process here is called primary treatment. These big basins have a rake that collects the floaties on top, the gross little floaties that once again takes it to a pit. And also the same process goes on the bottom. We have solids that are down there, and they're also sent to biosolids treatment. The water on top will go to our secondary treatment or our biological treatment. And the reason why it's so noisy is because we have these aeration motors churning up the waters to keep oxygen within these basins. The reason we need to keep oxygen in the basins is because there are microorganisms that live within these basins that eat the waste within the wastewater. Now the good water comes over these weirs here, and it exits at the end of this basin over here, comes flowing all the way down, getting treated by chlorine, and down here is where our water is going to exit. But before it exits, it is dechlorinated. And here's where the water exits our plant right into the river. It's good water. In fact, the water is sometimes better or just the same as the water in the river.
The omnipotent here.
Oh, people will tell you water's magical properties, or that it brings life, or that it creates energy and power, but I will tell you that the greatest mystery of water is that water is wet. Yes, wet water is much better than dry water. Dry water being bottled in Avion backwards spells naive, not a coincidence. So I shall sit here in my non-wet, dry, familiar green water and enjoy myself for 1,000 ninja bites until you, small, petrified high schooler, have grown to be something quite ineffectual.
You're looking for a bunch of little guys called copepods. They've got the little bit of an antenna, they've got the eye right in the center. As you also see some things called daphnia. You should be able to see the heart beating along, kind of like its back, and you'll see the big antenna. If you don't have any of these, or you have too many, that could indicate a problem. Okay, I'll look. Oh, wow, wow. Here's what's happening. We have a light meter. There's a sensor right here on the end. Pull it up so we can see. Okay, there's a sensor right here on the end. First, our first measurement's going to be just under the surface of the water. So let's lower that down to just under the surface of the water. Okay, when you're ready, push AB for average. And you'll repeat this entire process for each of the readings, the depths that we have on the data sheet. Rodrigo, why are we doing this? What are we looking for? What are we measuring here?
Measure the light in the water.
And why do we want to know the light of the water? I mean, why do we care about the light?
Well, if there's not enough light in there, the plants can't grow.
Right, that's right. Now, we know how important the plants are because why do we need the plants?
They make oxygen.
All right, now this is the oxygen meter. This is the probe for it. And why are we looking at oxygen?
Because bacteria could be in the river, and if there's bacteria, they eat up the oxygen.
Right, and if all the oxygen is gone, then what? The fish die. You're going to help pull in the fish. We have a lot of different kinds of fish. That's very good. If we have only one kind of fish, then that means that we don't have a good quality of water. Okay, pull out the fish. See if you can figure out what it is. Okay, what is that guy? Catfish. Measuring? Centimeters.
About 17.
Get whatever's in there. You gotta get them all.
12
centimeter catfish? What's a little catfish? It's a little tiny guy. Okay, get us to her. Make sure she hears you. Yeah.
What do you got there?
Get a shot at it. Hey. Careful. Okay, get his line, get his line. Quickly, get his line. There you go, get his line. That's what it looks like.
It's gonna come out.
Armando, take him over very carefully. Goodbye.
So now you know. If we can keep our rivers, lakes, and streams healthy, it's good for the wildlife and it's good for us. Man, catfish, trout, salmon.
Don't understand what's going on here. Don't understand what's going on.
Holy cow! They get up to about 50 to 70 pounds. This is a small one here.
How about a backjack?
Dungeness crab, halibut, Copper River king salmon. We have fish flowing in from all over the world. That guy right there? Medium king inbound. Hey, yeah.
Flying fish.
The Copper River is the longest river in Alaska, so the salmon that spawn up it have to store up a tremendous amount of fat to make the journey. So they're really, really rich in flavor. They have a high fat content. Best salmon of the year.
And what are those?
These are oysters.
Open your eyes, people! Children, the problem is that water is a necessity to our common everyday lives, and if we use too much, that's the 2 in H2O, and we'll never have enough water to get away with the plans they have for our lives.
Let me translate this for you. It's a matter of quantity and quality. If we take care of the water, it'll take care of us.
And that, my friends, from Dr. Andy Gravity gets a big circle swoop und ja.
It's my favorite toy. Oh yeah, it's my pride and my joy. Oh, you know it's my favorite toy. It goes down the stairs, gets caught in my hair, I don't care. You know I got a metal one and a plastic one too. I got one that's neon and one that's blue. It's my favorite toy. Oh yeah, it's my pride and my joy. Oh, you know that it's my favorite toy. It goes down the stairs, gets caught in my hair, I don't care. Oh, I love my Slinky.
Tell Peter he's on in 15 seconds.
Simple, yet satisfying.
What are you doing just staring?
Come on, guys. No more spitwise on the set.
Baby! Ready on the key. All right, here we go. Quiet on the set. Quiet in the dark.
It's showtime.
Get ready to jam, man. Let's get ready to jam.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to The Jam. This time, we explore the mysteries of the universe contained in coils of steel and plastic known as the Slinky. All jokes aside, though, you can learn a lot about engineering and physics just by studying the Slinky. Today, we're going to take you to the center of the Slinky universe and show you how engineering plays a big part in almost how everything in the world works.
Oh, yes, he's Larry, the omnipotent head in a jar. Ba-da-da.
It is I again, Larry, the omnipotent head in a jar. Most people don't realize this, but the original prototype for the Slinky was me, my head. The only problem was, though I was bouncy, every time I would fall downstairs, it would give me a severe concussion. And now, as in retrospect, every time someone turns on a microwave, I wet my pants.
Physics, science, and technology, the exciting field of engineering.
Yes, engineering. With a career in engineering, you can accomplish many things. From microchips to potato chips, engineers turn ideas into reality. But you don't have to be a straight-A student, and it's not just for guys anymore. All you need is math, science, and ambition. Just ask your science or math teacher. Engineers make a world of difference.
Let's do it.
I'm in Hollidaysburg, PA, the one and only place that they make Slinkies. Now, you won't believe all the cool Slinky stuff they have here. Check this out. Mrs. James, tell me how Slinky got its start.
Well, my husband was an engineer, and he was out on a trial run of a ship. And a torsion spring fell off a table and it quivered back and forth. And he came home and said that he was going to make a toy out of it. I thought it was a little wacky, but that's okay. You might be interested in some of the strange things Slinkies are used for.
Wow, okay.
They're used for pecan pickers, decorating rooms, particularly the plastic, because they're so colorful. And they're used in hospitals, which is great, you know, for therapy.
Okay.
And somebody uses them for curtains somehow. I don't know how they do that.
So tell me one thing about Slinky that everyone in America wants to know.
Well, I hope. Why does it last so long? And I think it's because it's simple. And there are no parts to wind up or no batteries or anything. I think that's it.
Tell me how the wire goes from this spool here to the Slinky that you have in your hand.
We get it in spools of approximately 1,000 pounds of wire on each spool. It's round wire. It's taken back over here, right back there, where we roll it flat, we cool it off and clean it, and then it goes to an edge winder which coils it, and it comes off. It's automatically cut to the correct length, and then it's made into Slinky.
Wow.
So that's what it looks like when it's done.
And it just springs like this automatically?
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the creation of the spring steel wire and the way it's made. I think it's real important to know that my dad was a mechanical engineer first. He was also a dreamer.
Okay.
And he took the knowledge he had, but he took common sense. He looked at the Slinky. Lots of people had seen springs take a little step. He was able to say, I think that could be a toy, but he had the background in engineering to go ahead and pull off some minor miracles, for instance, in the rolling of the flat wire.
And here he is with a brain teaser and the hair to prove it.
It's time to ask Dr. Gravity.
Welcome back to our laboratory. As you remember, last time we were here, Hilda und I und Hilda und I und Hilda. We were just getting back from the International Slinky Convention in Budapest. Well, we were able to get some of the little plans that they had there for some of the upcoming little, pardon my hair there, some of the future plans they had for some of the inventions that are going to revolutionize the future. Could you believe that or not? They get me so excited, my hair stands on end. That's why I wear proud today, so it's all the sassy look. We look here, and the first invention is called the Slinky Earthquake-Proof Building. That's right, when the big one comes, the rest of the ground, they're going, oh, you shake me, the coast is tossed. We look at this, and you just go boinky, boinky, boinky. That's all that happens. It's crazy like that. Well, let's look at the next one. Would you like it? This is a good one called the Slinkmobile. It's called the Slinky car, and it gets me so excited I can't believe it, because it gets to keep you at home while at the same time you get to drive to your location. Isn't that crazy? I can't believe they do that. Okay, we look at number 3 here. And 3 is the Slinky Space Station. That's called the SSS, or the S with a 3 on it, or a 3 in the corner, or S cubed, or just kind of like a snake, even though it looks like one, I guess it does. And that's one of those things where it has its own gravity there inside the space station, so you can walk on the inside of the outside. Or is it the outside of the inside? Maybe it's the inside of the outside of the inside.
Gravity. It's not just a good idea, it's the law.
Oh, fear not, for I bring the truth. There are secrets about the Slinky that they don't want you to know. They want to keep you in the dark. They want to keep us all in the dark. But it's not going to work. And why? Because I know the secrets. Take an actual Slinky. You think it's just a toy. Well, that's exactly what they want you to think. Oh, but there's more. There's so much more to the Slinky, and I can tell you why, because I know the secrets. This Slinky has inertia. Inertia! That means it's going to stay motionless and still right there, right here and there, where I put it. It's going to stay absolutely still unless one of those pesky, creepy little external forces decides to do something to it. It's going to stay right there. And as it's there all quiet and innocent, sleeping in its little crib and bed and sitting there just fine, it's showing that it has potential energy. But they don't want you to know that. Why don't they want you to know that? Because if you know that it has potential energy, you know that it can also be transformed into kinetic energy. Because if I do this, then that means that this little Slinky has lost its inertia, and the potential energy that once just crept little silently and sleepy in there is now kinetic energy. And that, my friends, is what we like to call energy in motion. You know these facts and you can rule the world. Call me right now at 1-800-555.
Enough of that. Don't worry about him. He's a little confused. All you need to know is that inertia, potential energy, and kinetic energy can all be found in the Slinky, along with a lot of other things. No conspiracy, just science and physics.
I had lost all hope of having a regular son. He was normal in every way except for one thing. He was Slinky challenged. What's a mother to do?
Luckily, I heard about the Academy for Advanced Slinky Studies.
I gave them my Slinky moron, and they gave me a Slinky champion.
Don't be a moron. If you know someone who's Slinky impaired, we can help. The Academy for Advanced Slinky Studies.
Don't you know that we're trying to do a show here?
Did you know in 1995 Slinky turned 50 years old? And they make more than 50 different kinds of Slinky toys, like this gold-plated one, and like this original Slinky, and like this dog right here, and this neon one here, and this little miniature dog right here, and this Slinky dog here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Angie, in here is the K-resin mixed with color concentrate. In this case, it's red. This material, it's put into, this is the suction unit that pulls out the K-resin and the concentrate up into a hopper over here. From this hopper, it goes into an extruding screw, which is inside of a heated casing, in effect. It melts the plastic in there, and it pushes it this direction. Over here, you can see what's called an extrudite coming out, which is very, very hot and plastic at that point. That's one of the uses of the words plastic. It's then brought from there, we wind it, we cool it off, and it comes out as a plastic Slinky.
Okay, so that's how plastic Slinkies are made here at the factory. But let's back it up a bit, because the process really started millions of years ago. And that's because that plastic is a petroleum product. And petroleum comes from crude oil. That's been in the ground for hundreds of millions of years. Here's how they turn oil into plastic.
Initially, in locating or trying to locate a place to drill for oil and gas, our geologists will go through a number of scenarios just trying to figure out what's the best place. And when that decision is made, then as petroleum engineers, we have to figure out how to drill this well. We'll drill it, but we'll get it piped into a pipeline that will carry it to a plant location.
And we process it in a series of steps. Most of it is geared towards making motor fuels of some sort, gasoline, aviation gasoline, diesel fuel. We also have some chemical products that come out of the crude oil.
So what you do is you take a large reactor, which is just like when you're cooking a big bowl. We put the two materials in there, you add heat, you add a catalyst to start the reaction, and you let it cook for a while. And after a while, these thin materials become plastics and they become hard. And what we do is we ship them out in the form of pellets. These are the pellets, K-resin pellets. You notice they're nice and clear and sparkle. These are what the customers receive. So we don't actually make the products. All we do is make the plastic pellets. And for instance, the Slinky producers, they melt the pellets, they extrude them into Slinkies. Other people take the pellets, they melt the pellets, and they make sheets, they make the cups, whatever forms they have to. It comes in pellets and you melt it, and then you do your forming. Well, there you have it. That's how they get from crude oil all the way to this neon plastic Slinky. Now, engineers have been a big, crucial part of the process every step of the way.
I'm back, and I have some more of their dirty little secrets for you. Do you want to know what they are? You do. Sure you do. You know, the first one is called gravity. Perhaps you've heard of it before. See, a few years back, there was a man named Sir Isaac Newton. Call him Sir, because that's the way he likes it. And he figured this whole thing out, and he spills the beans. See, gravity is what keeps us on the ground. It gives us weight. It's the pull of the earth. And you thought that was hot dogs. And gravity has a friend. They're like this, only gravity's over here. That friend is called centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is what allows me to sling an object around and watch it spin, kind of like a clothes dryer. Kind of like when I spit that wonderful loogie of phlegm that seems to take ever so long. It's what the kind of force that when I'm swinging around this Slinky, it allows to happen. Hear the whistle, that's centrifugal force. And the more centrifugal force I use, and the faster I spin, the less gravity has an effect on it. And that is a secret that they don't want you to know. Power. Power to the engineers. Power.
All right, that's it. I wasn't gonna do this, but you left me no choice. Roll it, Hal.
Toys in Space.
Well, we had a whole box of toys, and it was a lot of fun. STS-54 flew in January of '93. We did a variety of experiments with toys. I had one that had magnetic marbles that I released about that far apart, and they actually came together, so it demonstrated that there is magnetism in space. I had a basketball and a basketball hoop, a little Nerf basketball, and we're trying to demonstrate the lack of gravity's effect on the trajectory of a basketball. Well, you know, if you had a Slinky in space, you just let it go and it would probably just kind of wobble a little bit, oscillate, and maybe tumble a little bit, depending on what kind of force you imparted as you let go. The thing that would be much easier to demonstrate in space would be the wave motion. Very difficult to show that here on the ground. See, it wants to sag and drop, but on orbit, you could fix both ends and you could impart standing waves back and forth, one end to the other, oscillations at various frequencies.
Wander down memory lane back to the classic sounds of the 70s with Disco Slinky. Bump to it, baby. That's right, all your favorite hits about that fun fad toy are here for you to enjoy again and again and again. Ditch the pet rock, forget that mood ring, grab that springy coil and boogie down. It's all on Disco Slinky, baby. Ah, the days of polyester, platform shoes and hair to your navel. Remember it with Disco Slinky. So do the hustle and send $14.95 for 45 songs on 2 CDs to Disco Slinky, Box 9999, Jamestown, Pennsylvania.
Hang it up.
Power to the engineers.
No, you don't have to be a geek to be an engineer.
When I was maybe 10 or 12, the books I would read were always mystery books. And that's because I like to try and figure out the ending ahead of time. They're problem solving.
Well, to me, engineering is sort of like a game. You're trying to figure out ways to do things more efficiently, produce better products.
And that's one of the things that's so fascinating to me, is I can just look around my everyday surroundings and just see things that I can be a part of.
Don't be afraid of the technology. And if you like working with people, engineering could be for you.
when theory meets reality, that's where engineering comes in, and that's where you meet problems, you deal with problems, and you solve them. That's engineering.
You don't have to be straight A student, but you certainly have to have some initiative and some drive.
Well, when I was in high school, I really enjoyed my chemistry classes and my math classes.
Because then you have a lot of engineering classes that all branches of engineering have to take. And so that way you get to meet and socialize with a lot of different types of engineers.
Math and science gives you the theory, but engineering is the application.
Having the opportunity to stay with math and science as a base for just about any career that you choose is a good choice.
And if you find that you're doing well in your science and math classes and that you're really enjoying it, engineering is an excellent field for you to go into.
There's lots of different opportunities for engineers. Not only the technical design work, but there's futures in marketing, business.
I think engineering is a great career for a woman.
Because every day more and more women are getting into the more technical fields, and it's a good thing.
Whether you have the mechanical inclination or just the intellectual inclination to understand how things work and why they work, it doesn't depend on whether you're a man or a woman.
As long as you have a determined work ethic and you have some goals that you want to acquire and you have the perseverance to get through a lot of the academic pressures you might experience, anybody can be an engineer.
Peace, love, and always remember what the doc says.
Longitudinal waves.